In moments of struggle, when life feels out of control, we often forget the power of surrender. We find ourselves grasping at every situation, trying to manage every outcome, yet we still feel overwhelmed. The more we struggle to keep everything within our reach, the more chaotic life seems to become. We take on burdens that aren't meant to be carried alone. In these times, we forget that there is strength in letting go, in releasing the need to control everything around us. And in that surrender, we find a power greater than ourselves that can guide us through the darkest of times. It's human nature to seek control, to want to steer the course of our lives in a specific direction. We set our goals, make our plans, and work tirelessly to see them through. Yet there are moments when, no matter how hard we try, things don't unfold as we expect. Life throws challenges at us that seem too heavy to bear, and we are left questioning why things aren't going our way. But what if these moments of struggle are not meant to defeat us, but to strengthen our faith? What if they are a call to stop fighting and allow a higher power to take the reins? The act of surrender isn't about giving up. It's about releasing the need to control every aspect of our lives. It's about trusting that even when we can't see the way forward, there is a greater force guiding us, working behind the scenes. It's difficult to let go, especially when we've been taught to be independent and to fight for everything we want. But surrender doesn't mean weakness. It means recognizing that there is a plan far greater than our own, and that sometimes we need to step aside and trust in it. When we surrender, we create space for faith to step in. Faith is not just about believing in something that we can't see. It's about trusting that what we cannot see is working for our good. It's the belief that everything is happening for a reason, even when we don't understand the reason at the time. Faith requires us to trust in the unseen, to hold on to the belief that there is purpose in our struggles, even when they seem senseless. In surrendering, we give up the illusion that we must control everything in order to succeed. We free ourselves from the constant pressure of trying to manipulate every situation. Instead of fighting against life's challenges, we embrace them as opportunities to grow stronger in faith. We begin to see that when we let go of our need to control, we make room for miracles to unfold. The very act of releasing control becomes an act of trust, an invitation for divine guidance to take the lead. There is an incredible peace that comes from surrendering our worries to something greater than ourselves. It's the peace that arises when we stop trying to force things to happen on our own terms and instead allow the flow of life to guide us where we need to be. The peace comes from knowing that we are not alone in our struggles, that there is a power beyond our understanding that is supporting us. We don't need to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. It's okay to lean on that higher power. In fact, it's not just okay, it's essential for our peace of mind and our spiritual growth. So when life feels overwhelming, when you feel like you're losing grip on everything around you, remember this: there is strength in surrender. There is power in letting go and allowing God to handle what you cannot. The act of trusting in something greater than yourself doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong. It opens the door to deeper faith, peace, and the assurance that you are never alone in your struggles. Let go and allow the power of surrender to guide you toward a life of greater strength, purpose, and faith. We all face struggles, some small, others large, but none of us are exempt from the challenges that life inevitably presents. At some point, everyone finds themselves standing at a crossroads, unsure of what to do next, questioning the path they are on. Whether it's personal setbacks, financial hardships, loss, or simply the weight of daily life, we all experience moments where the load feels too heavy to carry alone. It's in these times of struggle that we often begin to doubt our abilities, question our decisions, and wonder whether the universe is against us. But here's the truth: these struggles are not signs of failure. They are not meant to defeat us, nor are they sent as punishments. These challenges are opportunities for growth, moments meant to refine us, to build us up, and to deepen our faith in the process. It's easy to forget, especially when we are in the middle of hardship, that every obstacle is part of a larger design. These challenges are stepping stones that shape us into who we are meant to become. We often think of success as a smooth journey, but in reality, the most significant growth happens when we are pushed to our limits. When we feel like we're on the edge, that's when the most profound lessons are learned. We often think of struggle as a setback, but it's actually a setup for something greater. In those tough times, when life doesn't go as planned, we are being refined, just like gold is purified by fire. However, we are not always aware of this greater purpose when we are in the midst of struggle. Our minds are clouded with worry, fear, and uncertainty. We focus on the immediate pain or loss and forget that these moments can carry hidden blessings. It's easy to become fixated on the what-ifs and lose sight of the bigger picture. But what if, instead of resisting the difficulty, we embraced it? What if we stopped viewing our struggles as obstacles and started seeing them as invitations to deepen our trust? Each challenge we face is an invitation to strengthen our faith. It's a chance to practice surrender, to trust that even though we cannot control everything, there is a force at work that is far greater than ourselves. The truth is, no one is immune to hardship. We may look at others and think that they have it easy, but everyone has their battles, even if they aren't always visible. The key to moving through struggles with grace is not in avoiding them, but in how we respond to them. We can either fight, resist, and become bitter, or we can choose to trust and surrender. When we choose the latter, we free ourselves from the need to control every detail. We begin to recognize that while we can't always determine what happens to us, we can control how we respond. By choosing faith over fear, we let go of the need to solve everything ourselves and allow room for divine intervention. Each struggle, no matter how large or small, presents an opportunity to practice faith. And practicing faith is not just about believing when things are going well. It's about trusting when things are difficult, when the outcome is uncertain. It's about letting go of the illusion that we must have everything figured out, and instead allowing ourselves to trust in a plan that is greater than our own. The faith that grows in these moments of struggle isn't passive. It's an active decision to choose trust over worry, belief over doubt. It's a powerful reminder that we are never alone in our battles. We often believe that in order to succeed in life, we must have control over every aspect of our existence. From our careers to our relationships, our health to our finances, it's easy to fall into the mindset that everything must be meticulously planned and perfectly executed. We pour our energy into making sure that every detail is accounted for, leaving little room for the unexpected or the unplanned. This desire for control is deeply ingrained in our nature, and it often feels like the only way to achieve our goals and maintain a sense of security. But the truth is that this illusion of control can be suffocating. The more we try to control everything, the more we find ourselves trapped in a cycle of stress, worry, and anxiety. When we believe we have to control every outcome, we place an immense burden on ourselves. We take on the weight of the world, believing that if we don't manage every situation, everything will fall apart. But in reality, there are countless factors outside of our control that affect the course of our lives. No matter how hard we try, we can't control the actions of others, the unpredictable twists of fate, or the forces of nature. Yet, we continue to fight against these uncertainties, constantly striving to maintain a sense of control. This battle can leave us feeling exhausted and disillusioned, because no matter how hard we try, we cannot control everything. This desire for control often stems from a fear of the unknown. We want to know what lies ahead, to have a clear and predictable path to follow. But the truth is, life is inherently unpredictable. There is no roadmap that can guarantee smooth sailing. We can plan, we can prepare, but we cannot predict every outcome. When we accept this fact, we begin to understand that control is an illusion. The more we fight against the unknown, the more we create unnecessary tension in our lives. However, when we let go of this illusion and surrender our need to control everything, we open ourselves up to a greater sense of peace. We allow ourselves to trust that things will unfold as they are meant to, even if we don't understand the path. Letting go of the need to control doesn't mean we stop taking action or making decisions. It means we stop trying to micromanage every aspect of our lives and instead trust that the right things will fall into place. It means accepting that there are things beyond our control and surrendering to the flow of life. This is where true peace resides. When we release the burden of control, we make space for faith to take root. Faith is the belief that even in uncertainty, there is a plan in motion, a purpose we may not yet understand. Trusting that this plan will unfold, even when we can't see it, brings a sense of relief and freedom. Letting go of control is not easy. It requires us to confront our fears and insecurities, to release the need to have everything in our grasp. But it is in this release that we begin to experience the transformative power of surrender. We start to realize that we don't have to figure everything out on our own. We don't have to carry the weight of the world alone. When we stop trying to control every detail and instead trust in the bigger picture, we create space for miracles to happen. We allow the universe or God or whatever higher power you believe in to work in our lives in ways that we could never have imagined. And in doing so, we unlock a peace that surpasses understanding, knowing that we are supported, guided, and never truly alone. Faith, at its core, is about trusting in something greater than ourselves, even when we can't see the whole picture. It's a belief that despite our limited understanding, there is a divine plan unfolding, one that is designed for our highest good. Faith goes beyond mere hope or belief in a positive outcome. It is the trust that no matter what happens, we are not alone in our journey. In the face of uncertainty, faith is the foundation that holds us steady, even when everything else feels unstable. It is the strength to move forward, to take the next step, even when we don't have all the answers. One of the most powerful aspects of faith is that it allows us to accept what we cannot control. It reminds us that there is a higher wisdom at work, one that sees the full picture, even when we only see a small fragment. This understanding helps to ease the fear and anxiety that often arise when we feel out of control. We may not always understand why things are happening the way they are, but faith teaches us that there is a reason, even when it is hidden from our view. It's the trust that in the grand design of life, every experience, no matter how painful or challenging, serves a purpose. Faith also requires us to let go of our attachment to specific outcomes. We are often attached to a particular vision of how things should unfold, but faith asks us to release that vision and trust that the outcome will be for our ultimate good, even if it doesn't align with our original plans. This doesn't mean we don't have dreams or goals. It simply means we trust that whatever happens will be what we need at the time. This trust enables us to let go of the stress and pressure that comes from trying to control every detail of our lives. It allows us to live with a sense of ease, knowing that we are being guided by something much greater than ourselves. When we allow faith to guide us, we are free from the constant need to plan every step. We can rest in the assurance that though we may not know what lies ahead, we are being led in the right direction. This doesn't mean that life will always be easy or free of challenges, but it does mean that we can face those challenges with confidence, knowing that we are supported by a higher power. Faith strengthens our resilience, allowing us to endure hardship with a sense of peace, because we know that we are not navigating life alone. We are part of something greater, something divine, and that truth gives us the strength to continue moving forward, no matter what obstacles may arise. By embracing faith, we also open ourselves to the possibility of miracles. When we surrender our control and trust in divine timing, we allow the universe, or God, to work in ways that we could never have anticipated. Miracles are not always grand and dramatic. Sometimes they show up as small moments of grace that we might otherwise overlook. But when we are open to them, when we trust in the flow of life, we begin to notice the miracles that are already unfolding around us. Faith invites us to see the beauty and the blessings in every moment, even in the midst of struggle. And in doing so, it transforms our entire experience of life. When we choose to let go of our need for control, we are embracing the deep truth that we are not meant to carry the burden of life's challenges alone. The strength that comes from surrender is often misunderstood, as people often associate it with weakness or giving up. But surrendering isn't about relinquishing our dreams or abandoning our responsibilities. It's about recognizing that there is a limit to what we can control, and that beyond that limit, There is a higher power that can take the weight off our shoulders. The strength in surrender lies in our ability to accept that we don't have all the answers, and that it's okay to lean on something greater than ourselves when we need it most. This kind of surrender does not mean giving up on our aspirations or simply waiting for things to happen. Instead, it's about releasing our attachment to the outcome and trusting that what is meant to be will unfold in its own time. It's an active choice to stop resisting the flow of life and to allow ourselves to be guided by faith, knowing that the process is just as important as the end result. Surrendering allows us to move forward with grace and confidence, knowing that even when things are uncertain, we are being held by a force that knows what we need, even when we don't. The strength in surrender is also about learning to embrace vulnerability. It takes courage to admit that we cannot do everything on our own, that we are not in control of all the circumstances in our lives. But in that vulnerability lies incredible power. It is through our surrender that we open the door to divine guidance, support, and transformation. When we release our grip on the need to control every aspect of our lives, we allow ourselves to be transformed in ways we could never have anticipated. We begin to understand that the struggles we face are not obstacles, but opportunities for spiritual growth, moments where we can learn to deepen our faith and trust in a higher plan. Surrender is not a passive act. It's not about sitting back and waiting for life to unfold without effort or intention. Instead, it's about taking purposeful action while remaining open to the idea that the outcome may not look like we expect it to. When we surrender, we are not resigning ourselves to a passive existence. We are actively choosing to trust in a higher power and to do our part, while leaving the rest in divine hands. This doesn't mean we are giving up or becoming complacent. It means we are aligning ourselves with the flow of life, trusting that the universe will provide what we need in its own time and way. True strength is found in surrender, in the willingness to accept that we do not control everything and that it's okay to let go. This strength is not about pushing forward with sheer force or stubborn willpower. It's about finding peace in the process, trusting that every challenge, every setback, every twist in the road is leading us exactly where we need to be. When we allow ourselves to surrender, we unlock a deeper, more profound source of strength, one that is rooted not in our own will, but in the unwavering faith that there is a divine plan at work, guiding us toward the life we are meant to live. Life has its own rhythm, its own pace, and it unfolds in ways we often can't predict or control. One of the most difficult lessons to learn is that everything happens in divine timing, not our timing. We live in a world that values instant gratification, where everything is expected to be achieved quickly. We want results now, and we want life to unfold according to our plans and schedules. However, this desire for speed can lead to frustration when things don't happen as quickly as we want them to. Yet trusting in divine timing requires us to acknowledge that there is a bigger picture, one that we may not be able to see at this moment, but that is still unfolding in perfect order. When we trust in divine timing, we surrender the pressure to force things to happen on our own. It's the understanding that there is a time and place for everything, and that sometimes we need to be patient and allow things to fall into place naturally. Whether it's the timing of a career opportunity, the right relationships, or the path we are meant to take, everything unfolds when we are truly ready for it. Often, we can't see why things are happening the way they are until much later, but in hindsight, we often realize that everything was aligned perfectly. This trust helps release the anxiety and frustration that comes from trying to make things happen faster than they should. Divine timing asks us to step out of our limited view of the world and trust that there is a plan unfolding, even when we can't see the steps ahead. It encourages us to be patient with ourselves and with life, knowing that we are not in control of every aspect of the journey. There is a rhythm to life, and sometimes the right opportunities and situations need to develop in their own time. Trusting in divine timing requires us to believe that everything is happening for our growth and benefit, even if we cannot immediately understand why things are happening the way they are. When we can rest in this trust, we take the pressure off ourselves to hurry through life, and instead we are able to embrace the present moment, knowing that the best is yet to come. Faith is more than just a belief. It is a powerful tool that can drive our personal growth and transformation. It is the foundation upon which we build resilience, hope, and a deeper connection to our higher purpose. In times of difficulty, when everything around us seems uncertain, faith becomes our anchor. It's what keeps us grounded when life feels like it's spiraling out of control. But faith is not passive. It's an active choice to trust in the unseen, to continue moving forward even when we don't have all the answers. The more we nurture our faith, the more it becomes a tool that strengthens us, enabling us to face life's challenges with courage and strength. The process of growth requires us to step into the unknown, to venture beyond the familiar, and to confront our fears. Faith provides the courage to take those steps, even when the path is unclear. It's the belief that no matter how uncertain the journey, we are supported by something greater than ourselves. Every challenge we face is an opportunity to build faith, to trust in the process, and to recognize that growth happens when we move beyond our comfort zones. Faith acts as a catalyst for transformation. It transforms our mindset from one of limitation to one of possibility. When we trust that everything is working for our good, we open ourselves up to new opportunities for growth that we might otherwise have overlooked. Faith encourages us to persevere in the face of adversity. It reminds us that setbacks are not failures but opportunities to learn and evolve. The more we trust in a higher plan, the more we are able to view our struggles as necessary steps on the path to becoming the best version of ourselves. With each challenge, our faith deepens, and with it, our ability to rise above the difficulties life presents. Faith teaches us that growth is not linear. It involves ups and downs, moments of doubt and triumph. But with faith as our guide, we can face every experience with confidence, knowing that each one is shaping us into who we are meant to be. Faith, then, becomes the tool that allows us to embrace life's journey with grace. It gives us the strength to continue moving forward even when the way is unclear, to trust that every step, even the difficult ones, is leading us closer to our true purpose. It's through faith that we become resilient, that we find the strength to rise again when life knocks us down. And in this process, we transform not just in our circumstances, but in who we are at our core. Faith is the key that unlocks our growth, allowing us to become stronger, wiser, and more connected to the divine plan unfolding in our lives. One of the most profound benefits of surrender is the peace that it brings. When we let go of the constant need to control every aspect of our lives, we release ourselves from the burden of stress, worry, and fear. Surrender doesn't mean abandoning responsibility or stepping back from life's challenges. It means accepting that we cannot control every outcome, and trusting that what will be, will be. This acceptance of the unknown creates a sense of peace, because we stop fighting against what is. Instead of spending energy on resistance, we choose to move forward with trust in the process, knowing that everything is unfolding as it should. The peace that comes with surrender is a peace that transcends the circumstances of our lives. It is not a peace that is dependent on things going according to plan, but a peace that comes from the deep trust that even when things don't go the way we expect, everything is still under control. It's the peace of knowing that while we may not understand everything, we are never truly alone in the journey. Surrender allows us to release the inner turmoil that comes from constantly striving to control outcomes, and instead embrace life as it comes. This peace, rooted in faith, gives us the ability to face challenges with calm, knowing that every situation holds a lesson and that, no matter how difficult, we will emerge stronger and wiser. Finding peace through surrender is an active practice. It's a decision to stop engaging in the inner struggle and to allow ourselves to trust. This trust doesn't mean passivity. It means trusting the process, doing our part, and letting go of the need to micromanage every detail. The more we practice surrender, the more natural it becomes to release our tight grip on life and allow peace to enter. It's in this release that we find the ability to truly be present, to experience life without the constant pressure to control and predict every outcome. The peace that comes from surrender is the peace that comes from knowing deep in our hearts that everything will be okay, no matter how the journey unfolds. Fear is one of the most powerful emotions that can paralyze us from moving forward in life. It's often rooted in uncertainty and the unknown, and it can manifest in many forms. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough. These fears can hold us back from pursuing our dreams, from taking risks, and from embracing new opportunities. However, faith has the incredible power to dissolve fear. When we cultivate faith, we develop the courage to face the unknown with confidence.